So this video is for those who need to or who want to use LaTeX for his journal manuscript but does not know how to use the LaTeX template provided by the journal. So today I'll just go through some conceptual matters regarding the file structure, folder structure, and the script structure that will necessary to understand the LaTeX template as well as to modify it according to your needs. This will be a series and this is the first part of the series, and I will demonstrate in my future videos hopefully. First of all, if you are willing to use any template, you will need either an offline setup or an online setup. In offline setup, there are several things that you need to configure. First of all is the IDE, in which text editor you will be editing the LaTeX file, and the package manager. In LaTeX there are several packages that are used, and the package manager handles those things in the background so that you don't need to install all of the packages the LaTeX come with, and you don't really need to spend so much storage of your hardware. And then there is a Perl. In bibliographical formation or bibliographical styling, Perl is a general purpose programming language. You may need to install that to render the style of your references. And another thing, if you are using an IDE, most likely you can't use a Grammarly type of grammar checker, because I have tried it on VS Code, but it doesn't work properly. And this is a backdraw in offline setup, but you have an alternative, the online setup, and the best provider is Overleaf. It has both free and pro version. Most of the journal templates can be edited through free version, and it does all of the things I have mentioned before that requires. It has its own IDE. You don't need to worry about the package manager. It compiles the bibliography. It can in any format like BibTeX, BibLaTeX, whatever. And it does also have a LaTeX in grammatical correction support. You can also integrate Grammarly on top of that. But there is a caveat, and which is in the free version you may face some rendering issue or compilation issue. What is that? If you have too many or too large graphical contents like figures in SVG and they are too large to render, it will consume much time to compile that, and when you reach a certain threshold it will ask you purchasing the pro version, and you can overcome that issue by just compiling the draft, which the graphics will not be compiled, but you will get the actual formation of that of your manuscript. And as much as I know, all of the journal articles that ask for LaTeX file, they ask basically for the zip file and not the actual rendered PDF. So I think that can also be overcome, or you can do is reduce the graphics file size and reduce the number of figures or graphics you want to include in your journal article. Now let's come to the file structure. There are four types of file you will find. One is .tex text, another one is .bib. These are the two things that you will need to actually edit, and there are other two file types like .sty and .bst. You don't really want to edit any of these files, because these are the files that make the structure of your document. It is basically the styling that the journal editor have provided to you, and they want the exact styling, so you don't have to you don't really want to modify them. And this is the beauty of LaTeX. because when you are working with any kind of word processing tool like Microsoft Word Docs or Google Document, you need to read through the manuscript guideline that how your fonts should be, and what are the what style goes to your headings, and the figure captions, table captions, and so on. So how the reference should be styled in which category. This is the kind of thing that you need to take care while you are working in a document file. But in a LaTeX file, you don't really have to worry about any of those things. All you have is the template from the journal authority, and you will only have to fill it like a form, except it doesn't have any kind of graphical user interface like a form. Rather, it has a script type of thing, and you just use the script as a form and replace or insert your text figures inside that LaTeX file, and it will use these files to actually structure the document according to that journal's guidelines. The STY file does the styling for the actual document, and the BST file does the styling for the references. In many template, you may find several .tex file, and in the main.tex file you actually call the other text file, such as, let's say you have several sections like introduction, methodology, results, and so and so, and those sections are actually written in separate .tex file. In the main.tex file, you call those text file, and when compilation is done, they compiled as a whole. But most of the cases I have seen there is only one main.tex file. The several text file is actually used for book writing, not journal articles, I guess. The next is folder structure. This one also actually varies. You may find two types of template. In most of the cases, there is only one folder. When you extract the zip file, there is nothing inside. No, there is no folder inside that zip file. This is called single folder structure. Sometimes you will find that there are folders like figures, chapters, tables, such and such. So you will have to let me just discuss this thing. If you have no folder inside the main folder, you keep all of your figures, tables, or bibliographical documents inside this single structure folder, and the main.tex file will compile it accordingly. But if you find there are subfolders such as figures, then you'll have to keep all of your figures inside that subfolder. You can actually modify it, but you need to understand the LaTeX script or a main.tex file just to modify it. If you see that the template already calls the figure files from here, then you'll have to do accordingly. Otherwise, you can just put all of your figures similar to the single folder structure LaTeX template. Now let's come to the script structure, the main.tex file, how you are going to modify, or how you will see actually the text file. So first of all, there is a document type command. This comes with \document class, curly braces, and inside the curly braces you will see something like article, or it will call something that actually refers to this kind of STY file. You don't actually touch it at all. And there are some use packages thing. You don't also touch this section because it handles all the packages for you. And there are some initials. So in the initials section, you may find titles, authors, authors informations, dates, abstract, such and such. So you have to fill these fields. And then you can also find some new commands or theorems or something like that. These are actually custom commands that are provided by the journal you are modifying to. You can use those commands inside your main document, but you don't actually modify them. Okay. Now the main writing part begins with the backslash begin curly braces. Inside the curly braces you will find document. So LaTeX is basically a markup type of scripting language. So you will have to use some syntax just to provide some information to the compiler, and it begins with this kind of thing. And here you all of your introduction, methodology, and the figures folders will be mentioned. Today I will not be mentioning or showing you how the each part of a journal article is written inside a LaTeX. Rather, I am just showing you the structures that you will need to understand before modifying any sort of template. Okay, so another thing is calling commands inside the main writing parts. You will use various kinds of commands as you are going to need them. There are two types of commands: single line commands, multi-line commands. In single line commands, let's say you want to bold a certain words inside a line. In this case, you will not use multi-line command. You will rather use single line command. And how does that form, or how is that structured? The single line commands are basically start with the backslash, the command name itself. If it does have any sort of options, then you will use those options inside this square bracket. And if it doesn't have any options, you don't actually include the square bracket at all, and you put your input inside this. You can call it as an input or argument, whatever you prefer. And in multi-line command, if you want to modify or apply a command to multiple lines, then you have to use a begin command, and inside the command you will mention the command name. There is what is this part is showing that thing. You start with the begin curly braces. Inside the curly braces you mention the command name, and whatever you put inside here, it will use the command you have mentioned here, and the end of that same command. Whatever you start with begins, it must have to end with end. Okay. For example, if you are including an equation inside a sentence, you will just use this dollar sign, and inside the dollar sign you write the equation. If the equation is multi-line, you can also use a double dollar sign, and inside the dollar sign there will be multi-line equation. But remember, when you are writing a double dollar sign and the equation, that equation will not be numbered. In case of journal manuscript, we always try to use, or we always try to refer those equations inside the text, so we must need numbers. So in that case you will have to rely on the begin curly braces equation command. And what does this command do? It gives this equation a number. What number it will take, you may ask? It will automatically configure itself. You don't really need to manually provide it any sort of numbers. Let's say you have multiple equations and you want to include another equations on top of that. When you number them manually, what you will have to do, you will have to renumber them or rearrange them, and that whole thing, the whole document where you have mentioned each number, you will have to modify them as well. But in case of LaTeX, you don't really need to do that. LaTeX handles the sequence, the numbering for equations, figures, tables, everything, even references. That's why LaTeX is better to document or prepare academic manuscript. Okay, another example is you just want to include a graph or include a figure without any sort of numbering or captions, then you just use this include graph thing. But if you want to mention the captions, you want to include the uh, you want this figure to be modified as well. Let's say you want it to be centered, or you want its width to be same as the paragraph width or such and such. You'll have to use multi-line command. Another thing, you can always use label for any kind of commands. Let's say you want to label it as a equation for ABC. You can also include that label, and you actually mention the label inside your text to refer this equation. You don't actually need to write the whole thing or anything else. It is actually easy. When I'm going to show you the hands-on uh, for each cases like figures, tables, equations, you will see that how things are done. But for now, just understand there are two types of commands: single line command and multi-line command. Now let's go to the reference structure. When you are dealing with referencing in documents or word processing tools, you will have to worry about what style the journal manuscript requires, and you have to configure them, or you have to style them accordingly. But with the LaTeX template, you don't have to worry about any of those things. You just need to put the beep text file or a beep text inside the .beep file and use the call sign. Okay, what is call sign? I will be explaining later. Use the call sign inside your .text file, and that will refer to this reference, and that will be cited in the text. Also, the reference list will be generated accordingly, automatically. You don't really need to worry about how things are structured, how things are viewed or styled. Now let me explain you how the beep text are written. First of all, the at sign is provided, then the type of the reference. Let's say if it's a journal article, then you say article. If it's a book, you say book. If it's a web reference, then you say web, something like that. You will get the demonstration or inside the template. Later the curly braces is started, and you provide a call sign. What is the call sign? This is the name without any kind of space that you provide, and you will be using this call sign inside the text to refer this reference. Okay, next there's a comma, and in the next lines you will mention, let's say, title, abstract, URL, and such and such. You may think that then this will be a rigorous task, but no, it's not a rigorous task. When you are sourcing or reviewing any sort of literature, you will find that it already provides a .beep file. If it doesn't, whatever you get, or whatever kind of reference you get, you just provide it to any sort of beep text generator. It will convert it accordingly. Okay, so this is a template. It is basically a Springer Nature template file where I have edited some of the things. As you can see, there is the title, author, descriptions, abstract, and then the introduction has begun from here. Now you will see the commands in here. Let me explain the folder structure first. Here the main folder is called this one, and it does have all the other files in it, and you will see there is a folder called figures. In the actual template file there is no subfolder such as figures. This is my preference. I have created a folder so that all the figures are organized here properly, but I guess I will just remove this thing. And here you will see the other files. You may find that why there is so PDF file, because when I am rendering a graphical item, if that is in raster format, it will lose its quality, but if it's in vector format, it retains its quality, and I prefer to use vector formats for most of my graphs. And a PDF is a smaller version of any sort of vector format. And then you will see BSTs, and there are multiple BSTs. So why is that? Because this template actually lets you configure several styling. Let's say you want it to be author year style referencing, you can do it. If you want it to be Arabic numeral style referencing, you can also do it. And that's why there are multiple BSTs. See, basic and Chicago style BSTs, basic BSTs, referencing style. Then you can also see the API like citation or references, such and such. So that's all for the file structure. If I come to the document script structure, you see the very first thing is the document class. It mentions the document class. You don't really touch these. Next comes the packages. What are the packages that are used to compile this whole file? Next is some theorems. Next comes the title, and here you put the title. You can see the title is inside the begin document command. It can be inside the begin document command, sometimes it is outside the begin document command. It doesn't matter why it resides. You just you'll have to figure out, or you'll have to read through the script and find out where your title or author information goes. Okay, see, these are the author informations, and you can guess where to put actually what. Let's say this is the what author want to first author email. So you can actually guess that here goes the first author's first name, and this is the first author's last name, and this takes the email of that author. So it's not that hard to actually read the script and figure out where should your information actually goes. If you miss something, let's say you haven't fill this up accordingly, what you will see, like here, that I haven't filled it. It shows the first author, second author, third author, not the actual author's name. So you will know that you have missed something after the rendering is done. Next comes the abstract. Here you put your abstract, also the keywords. Then the make title. This command takes the title and actually renders it. Otherwise, these are the things that may not be rendered. Next comes the section part. I will explain what sections does and things in the separate video. And now you just know that this is how the whole script is structured. And in the end, you can see I have used these bibliographical formation or this bibliographical style. It will use the SN bibliography style from the template. And where does my bibliography goes? So this is a section where I have mentioned reference. The reference call sign I have provided is Savalia 2026, and it is mentioned as \site. And where does the actual reference of this call sign is? It resides in the sn.bibliography.bib file. If I go inside this file, you can see how the structure is written. Start with at, type article, curly braces started, provided the call sign same as before, comma, and then author, title, journal, volume, number, pages, etc, etc. And I have provided all of this accordingly. So if you have already prepared this .bib file before citing inside here the main text, you will get suggestions that when you type \site, it will suggest or it will try to automatically fill it. You'll just have to write some text like SAV, and it will show that yes, it matches with this name, and if you want actually use this citation, all you have to press is tab and it will autofill it. And this is done in overlay, not in manual or offline setup. You can achieve that same kind of thing, but you'll have to configure many things. So in my future videos, I will be demonstrating how you can actually download any LaTeX template zip file and use the zip file inside your overlay to configure everything you need just to start with the document. And later on I will take a specific topic and describe how things are done, such how you actually format a figure or table or equations, or how you actually structure these sections like headings. And that's all for today. Thank you.